and a good afternoon to you. I'm Huey Poplock. This is the Central Florida Computer Society Windows Special Interest Group, or WinSIG, for Sunday, July 9th, 2017. We welcome you, and we have some people in the audience at the CFCS meeting, and we have a few people online now. Thank you for joining, and I hope you get something out of the meeting and get to know a little bit about you may not have known. I am sharing my screen. I am going to close off make sure I close the right things here. You'll see my desktop. By the way, I use something called fences on my desktop, and you see those lines there? Well, those lines are actually boxes that contain my icons that make it very easy for me to find things. And these are not in fences, and that's why they're showing up. And then I have some fences that are open without having the drop down as well. And I'm going to be demonstrating some of those throughout the day today. Before we get started, I would like to talk just very briefly that I'm starting another special interest group for people who find that Windows might be a little bit more than they need, or a little bit more than they want to have to learn about and deal with, and that's using a Chromebook. Chromebooks are being used widely in schools throughout the country and actually throughout the world. They're quite inexpensive. They're quite easy to use. They're based on the Chrome operating system, which actually is a cloud-based operating system, and it uses the Google Chrome browser as basically the operating system. So I do want to show you a little video that I've put together talking about the SIG, and let's go ahead and play that first, I hope. There we go. Full screen it. That's the website, http:// or just cb4s.net. There was already a .com, but that says Chromebooks for Seniors, and the remedy of aches and pains of computing. So that's coming soon. So let's get on to the Windows SIG for today. And before we get started with the various items, I do want to show you on the right-hand side, this is where you can subscribe to our mailing list. If you're not getting the e-news that I'm sending out probably once or twice at the most a month, but once a month, which I'll have information about the previous month, the coming month, and maybe some tips or some information about Windows or computers in general. Trying not to spam you. I'm trying not to send out a bunch of emails, and I'm trying to do it so it'll solve me having to send an email to somebody who's writing a newsletter. I can take it or part of it and just post it to Facebook. I can either take it or not even just saying the new newsletter is out and posting it on the TechSig that a lot of you get in. I'm just trying to cut back on a lot of the work that I've been doing to try to promote the Windows SIG and what we're doing and when we're doing it and so on. So please, if you would subscribe to the mailing list, and as we get, I hope we start filling up We do have 100 slots for each meeting. I thought it was 50. We have 100. So if we feel that we're, then I'll go back to using Eventbrite and have you register and then just cut it off and then use a different meeting session number for each meeting. Right now, I am changing them each month, but I am posting it to the public and in the various places as I set it up. And I may make it something consistent until such time as we have to use Eventbrite. So please make sure you sign up for the newsletter. It's on any page on the Huey.net website. But if you go to the Windows SIG meeting notes or the Windows SIG pages, you should see it on the right-hand side. Now, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Hopefully, I'm on the page. Come on. And then that sidebar goes away, but you'll be able to see a little bit here. These are the topics for today. If you had checked this in the last couple of days or saw my listing on Facebook or in the TechSig, or if, I don't know that got sent out with everything listed, I have added and changed the order of a few items here, and we still may leave out one or two in between, and then we're certainly not going to get to them all today. The first item, and I'm not even going to go to the article, I'm just going to mention that YouTube, 1.5 billion logged in viewers every month to YouTube. If you're not using YouTube, you're missing out what the rest of the world is taking advantage of. Lots of fun, lots of good information. Let's just take a look at my personal channel on YouTube, and you'll see the ad that I just showed you is there. There's some other presentations that I've done for some other groups that are there. And then the Windows SIG goes on the channel for the CFCS. So those are all out there as well, and you can find those. There's a lot of ways you can find them. Why is my mouse not wanting to cooperate? Let's see, CFCS videos, Huey, so it looks good. Well, let's just do CFCS. See what we get. Well, not our channel really, but there is a channel out there for us. And it's probably the Central Florida, but it's CFCS videos. I'll spend one more second on here before we go anywhere. No, it doesn't find them easily. Anyway, if you go to my website, then go to the videos and tutorials on that page. You'll see a list of all of my videos and links to them and what they are and so on. So that'll make it easier for you. Once you get to the CFCS Windows SIG area, you can subscribe to them, or you can take a look there and get a better idea where they are. So let's get started with today's meeting and come back. So if you aren't using YouTube, you should. You can find almost anything you want to learn how to do described in videos on YouTube. Take it, do some searching, and you'll find all kinds of things. Okay, the next area that I started helping some people on copying files from one place of their computer to another, and found that a lot of people really don't understand, and it's not easy to do. So let's take a look at an article I found on a better way to copy files. And that sounded interesting, but it's downloading a program. And let me bring this. Let's see, change the magnifier. And then move it on the screen here, hopefully. There we go. I'm playing with the magnifier, and I don't usually use it, so I'm not sure exactly. I'll fight it as best I can, or I'll shut it off if I can't get it going right. But this is a better way to copy files. It's actually a program that you can download and play with. I've not used it. You know, you might want to try it if you're having some issues in copying files. But what I do want to show you is, let's see here. How do I get out of the magnifier? That's going to be the fun thing. Let's try doing that. There we go. Minus, there we go. But what I want to show you here is, I want to show you another article, or actually it's a website, and it's a program called AlwaysSync. The latest version is 17.2.8 for Windows. It is free. They do ask if you use it a lot or if you use it commercially to purchase it. I believe the price is like about $25 if you do that. It's not expensive. Buy the Pro version is $26, which is not a bad price if you're going to use it commercially. If not, use it free. Now, you're saying, what is it? First of all, let's take a look at the short video, and then I'm going to demonstrate it.
This is Kate. Kate is a professional. These are data files that are important in Kate's life. Kate works very hard. She works in the office, at home, and on the road. No matter where Kate is, and whatever happens to her PC, she must be able to work with up-to-date information. Kate is smart. Therefore, she makes backups of her Word files, as well as her personal photo and video collections. When Kate used to manually copy her files, it took a large amount of time. So Kate was not able to always find and copy all the needed files on time. Now, Kate has found a high-technology solution to simplify her life. AlwaysSync software automatically synchronizes files and makes working with data faster, more reliable, and efficient. The software is localized to many languages and supports a number of different devices. AlwaysSync's key benefits are security. You can encrypt your data with AlwaysSync for extra protection. Reliability. It uses innovative algorithms for true bi-directional synchronization. Simplicity. AlwaysSync is easy to use. And safety. AlwaysSync does not contain any spyware. Now you can stop worrying about losing your important data. Set up AlwaysSync just once and simply concentrate on your job. The software will automatically copy your files and keep them safe. How AlwaysSync works. Select the folders you want to synchronize. Set the synchronization rules. For instance, keep the older file versions synchronized every 10 minutes. Lastly, synchronize selected folders onto cloud storage or a USB drive. It's easy, just like how effortless it is for Kate. Just as easily, you can also make the work of your entire company more coordinated and stable. All your files are under your control. AlwaysSync, synchronization software that works.
Okay, let's minimize this and go down here and let's open up AlwaysSync. Well, my mouse didn't act up at all earlier. Now it's going to act up on me. I checked earlier, and when I went to help and about, come on, mouse. Something's going on in the background. Never fails, does it? Okay, I'm running 17.1.3, so I could have updated today, but I decided no, if it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong now. So decided to wait, and I'll upgrade later. It's only a couple of, it's still version 17. It's just a newer version of 17. So this is what it looks like. On the left, I've got a folder. On the right, I've got a folder. I preset it up, but you can change these at any time by going to a list of folders. You can create a new folder on one side or the other if you need to. But let's go ahead and we're going to use it. I've got pictures on this folder, and I got a couple of pictures in this folder. If you've ever done copying from one place to another, just copying, and sometimes it moves them on you, and that's not what you want to do. All you want to do is copy. So you have a duplicate set in both folders. It will start copying, and then all of a sudden it gets screwed up, and you only got half of the files copied over to the new folder. Now you've got some files in both folders, and some are missing. So you can't just say, okay, go ahead and copy these over to the other side, because every time it hits one that's already there, it's going to come up with a box. It's going to say, what do you want me to do, and so on. So this is where I found that AlwaysSync works very well, and especially for large folders or folders with a large number of files or big files. First thing you do is you come down here to where it says Analyze. Let's see if I can, where'd my zoom go here? Let's try zoom and see what happens there. Bring it up here a little bit. I made it 200%. I just have 100 or 200%. That's it. So I'm afraid you're not going to be able to see it too well. So we'll do it this way, and let me get the magnifier out of the way. Well, I thought we could help. This is one nice thing that I really like about Macs, that you can zoom in on areas very easily. But anyway, this is Windows. Let's make this full screen so you're at least see it a little bit better. And I'm going to come down here to where it says Analyze. And it does say Analyze in that box. And when I tell it to analyze, it goes out, okay, and it looks at everything in both of those folders. And it says, okay, here's what's in one folder, and here's what's in the other folder. And if it's bold, it's there. If it's not bold, it's going to be there if you continue to do the synchronization. Now, you'll notice here it says unchanged files. What that means is the same file, there's 3 files in each of the folders that are identical. And I did that on purpose. They're identical. If one of them should be older than the other, it will then say, do you want me to overwrite that one with the new one or just leave it alone? You'll also notice down here, it says all files 71 were the new files, which was 66, but all the files are here. You'll notice that there's some arrows here. Well, this has to do with the way you want it to synchronize. I'm saying, okay, everything that's on the left, go ahead and put it on the right and make them synchronize them. So it's saying, okay, these don't need to, nothing needs to happen with these, but all of these, we're going to move to the right. However, I could say, okay, let's take a look. Let's, whoops, hit change. Come on. And instead of doing it that way, let's say we want to go the other way. Now you'll notice that they're all X'd out because they're not over here. Unless you come down a little bit, and there's nothing for it to copy, because the only 3 files that are in this folder are on that side. But let's say, okay, let's do it both ways. I want both folders to be identical. So what it's going to say here is, okay, this one you don't have to do. I thought there was one file that I had set to go the other way. So let's just go back here for a moment. Come on, mouse. Okay, now I'm going to go and see. There should be one that has an arrow to the left. There it is right there. So that's the only file that's on the right-hand side that would go to the right. All of the others are either there or they don't exist on the right. So let's go ahead and change that. We want them to go both ways. So this one you'll notice is going to go in that direction. All the rest are going to go in the other direction, and some are going to be left alone. And so then I say, okay, go ahead and synchronize and watch what happens. And these are all, you can see half a megabyte or more. So they're all fairly large pictures. And one is over a megabyte. When I say megabyte, I'm sorry, those are, let's see, million. Yeah, that would be right. Okay, look, so let's go ahead and synchronize them. Click on synchronize. It says see important messages. So I need to come up here to the top first. Important message. Okay, substantial difference in folders. This is normal when you do synchronization for the first time in new job number 1. So if I say ignore, now I can tell it, let's go ahead and do the analyze. Ignore it and synchronize. Now watch. You see them moving down to the bottom. You'll see all the arrows are here. It's now done. And if we do an analyze, there is now 71 unchanged files, and all the files are set to be left alone. It's done. It's very fast. It's very fast to do it among between different drives as well. This happens to be on the same drive, but you can see that it's very fast. That's basically it. It's a very nice program to use. I know Stan uses a program that he does a lot of copying and pasting and moving things. I'm not sure whether it will do anything like this that quickly, where it's comparing, and you can go in either direction, tell it to go in both directions, and it does. So that's AlwaysSync. A nice free addition to your arsenal of programs that you can have on your computer. Okay, the next item is the 25 best websites you might not have heard of yet. Let's just take a look at this. We're not going to go through all 25 of them. We're going to get to a certain point, and then I'm going to veer off a little bit. But this is a pretty good article. It's from back in June, about last month, since our last meeting. Creative, you can turn YouTube videos into guitar chords. So there's a website that will do that. There's one with easy color schemes. Coolers is a color scheme generator. Let's make this bigger. Maybe you can read it more easily. Coolers is a color scheme generator that creates random palettes that always work. You can tweak generated palettes. Do you like sound effects for various things that you do? Do you want some new sounds for your phone, for your various tones and so on? Well, you can get all kinds of free sound effects by going to this website and download them. Most of them are actually, it says it's a massive collection of royalty-free sound files. So if you like to be legal, that makes it, if they're royalty-free, it means you don't have to pay royalty when you use them. You may have to buy them to get them royalty-free, but you can still download them and use them to your heart's content. And it's good for presentations as well. Come on, mouse. I'm using my finger on the screen to make it work a little bit better. Free game assets. So if you're Open Game Art is a massive collection of free game-related assets, including 2D and 3D art. So if you're creating games and so on, you can get some information, some material to use. Free world-class college courses. I've done a presentation on, and do have it. If you have a user group and would like to have me do a presentation, I do have one on places of where you can help seniors learn and keep their minds active. And one of them happens to be Coursera, another one Khan Academy. So you can find all kinds of courses on those sites. But here's another one. It's called Academic Earth, and you'll find thousands of excellent courses on the site's core belief that everyone has the right to a world-class education. So there's lots of information, a lot of college courses that are free, and you can go to that website and see them. Most helpful math tutorials. If you're helping kids, grandkids with math, you need to learn some more about math. Here's a website that will help you with some different things that you can do. What's a limit? Basic description of limits, finding limits from a graph, and so on. Very good website for that. Learn any skill for free on the web. And so this has a lot of the sites that I used in my presentation. Under academics, you got things like Coursera, the Khan Academy, edX, MIT OpenCourseWare, the University of Reddit, Berkeley Lectures, and so on. Under art, you got Cambridge in Color, DrawSpace, Smart History, Google Art Project, and so on. Computer programming, web development, you got Code Academy, Learn to Code the Hard Way, Udacity, and so on. So these Beginner's Guide to HTML and CSS. These are free skills that you can learn online on various websites. And so it's a no excuse list is a compilation of free online resources for learning new skills. Open access to any scientific paper is another website. Independent research on supplements. If there's something on vitamin D and so on. Examine launched in 2011. Supplements are tricky because they aren't well regulated. There's a lot of misinformation on the web. So this website, read through the actual research, present unbiased facts to readers. Exercising different muscles of your body, the right way to lace your shoes, prediction of the future of mankind, arts and entertainment, listen to police radios in metro cities. There's even some ways to listen to radio stations around the world using Radio Garden. There's a lot of them out there. Listen to shortwave radio, radio waves. Every music genre to ever exist. Every Noise at Once is a mapping of every music genre ever to exist, each with the genre placed in relative proximity to other similar genres. This makes it a great way to discover new flavors of music that you'll love. The Met's High Resolution Online Art Gallery. And if you like art, visit the Metropolitan of Art and their gallery online, so you don't have to travel there. Play hundreds of retro games online. Like some of the old games, I noticed today, 1981, today's date is when Donkey Kong was released. what's that? 81, so that's 20, 30, 35, 36 years ago. Wow. So we've been in this age for a long time. We remember before it, some of us, but kids today don't remember before Donkey Kong or about Donkey Kong. Google Maps Street View guessing game. You travel a lot of places, have a pretty good understanding of the terrain and so on. Well, GeoGuessr is a fun way to kill some time. It'll present you with a street view location from somewhere in the world, and you have to pinpoint where it is on a map. The closer you are, the more points you earn. Not only is it fun, but you probably learn a lot about along the way. Real-time map of global emergencies, where things are happening. Another website. Compare the cost of living between cities. You may not be moving, but maybe your son is, and you might want to do some research and let them know that raise to move them to another city might be worth more than it is, or it might be worth less than they think, because the cost of living can be different. Check for your online accounts were ever hacked by going to the PWNED website. Have I been pawned? Is a simple tool that checks your username and email addresses that have ever been breached and released by hackers. And generate fake identities online. So sometimes you want to have a fake identity for an online account just to use it one time to get something, and you don't want to give them your information. You can create some fake identities, not to be to do identity theft, please. Background noise for true relaxation is another website. And create professional resumes is the 25th one that's here, that's listed. So lots of good websites to fritter away the day if you have nothing else to do, without having to play useless games or not do some of the things. If you're a procrastinator, this is a great way to find things to do to procrastinate. For those of us who have been part of this Windows SIG when it was the DOS SIG, and Mike, I think you and I both ran it when it was still the DOS SIG, there are still command lines that you can use in Windows, even Windows 10. You had a question?
No, he said Ted's specialty.
Oh, yeah. These are some things. These are some things that you can use in Windows 10, and some things that you probably ought to have in your, save this article. If you use Evernote or OneNote, I use Evernote. It's something I've saved. And Stan, this would be a good article for you to have, because there are some times where you can get in and maybe get to the DOS prompt, but you can't get into Windows. And this might be, there may be some things here you can do. Of course, list the contents of a folder and clear the screen. If you remember, if we come down here and type in COMMAND, that gets you to the command prompt. I don't know why my mouse is, just give me a second here to. I have to clean my mouse in the middle of a presentation. I love that. I have a thumb mouse, and it's got a ball in there. Sometimes it does get dirty. So let's see if this works better. Now it's working. Now we'll click on the command prompt. I think there's a way to make this bigger, but I'm not sure, and I'm not going to do it right now. But if you remember, dir gives you the directory. And if you want to clear the screen, it's CLS. Those are old DOS prompts. They still work today. I'll leave that command prompt open here. We'll move it over here to the side and see if there's anything else here. If you want to shut down or restart, they give you a shutdown. Obviously, I'm not going to do that, or you can say goodbye to our this meeting. And I'd have to log on again, and you'd all have to probably log back in. But it shut down, and then -S space -T space 01 to immediately power down your machine. So you can create a shortcut, put that in it, and when you click on that shortcut, bingo, it'll shut your computer down.
Huey,
Yes.
I was going to mention that after we did our run through yesterday, I had seen this and I went to it. So I did the thing for hibernation, and I'm finding Windows 10 is difficult to change to accept hibernation. That's not the default. And by having a shortcut on my desktop, it works every time. It's amazingly quick. I think it's great. And I do use the command prompt often for pinging and making sure that I am connected, and it's not a Windows issue if I'm not able to get onto a website, for example. So this is a very, very useful article. I'll send that out.
And then also, if you want to create a user account, you can do it from the prompt. I know there was some discussions in the TechSig that I think it was you, Stan, maybe it was somebody else, was having a problem, and somebody suggested creating a user account. But if you couldn't get in to your regular account, but you
Yeah.
need to create a user account. If you can get to that command prompt, you can create that user from the command prompt without having to go into the WYSIWYG or the what you see is what you get user interface. Navigate the file system, change the directory. For those of us who've been around, and I imagine a lot of people in the room there have been, and a lot of these terms and commands they'll recognize. And I think, as I remember, if you do is it a question mark and enter? No. To get the commands, I don't remember. Anyone remember what the code is or what you type in? And it'll give you, help.
Yep.
And then you can go back up and it'll give you all of the items that you can do. So they're still there, folks. So those of you who said, boy, I remember those good old DOS days, you can go back there anytime you want. Make, move, delete folders and files. This is a very good article and very complete and so on. So that information is there. So like Stan did, when you take a look at these things, you can learn an awful lot and review a lot of information from before. Well, let's just go to it. I've not really played with this. I was hoping to. When I added it to the list, it sounded interesting. Microsoft has got a hands-free typing with Dictate. It's part of the Cortana, or it's a little bit different than Cortana. I'm not even sure. It seems to be available, and you can download it for free and try it. I have not done it. If you do, I'd like to hear what your experiences are with it. But where I want to go is the Microsoft Office Online. I know a lot of you over the years used Office that you borrowed from somebody else. When I say borrowed, you used it illegally. But Office has changed. Microsoft is not a software company anymore. A lot of what they do is in the cloud. And Microsoft Office is now online and it's free. I know at first when they made it available online, you could read files, but you really couldn't do much with it. But let's take a look at this. This is from Microsoft's website. Let's make it bigger here. And you'll notice it says try Edge, get started. I'm going to just say no thanks. I happen to be using Chrome, but this works. Hang on one second. Okay, this does work using any browser, as far as I know. I don't need any help, but thank you. Free Office online apps, and this is a Microsoft website, Microsoft product. Free Office online apps. Create, share, and collaborate from anywhere using Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote. You can also, and it's going to take us down to the bottom of this page, but when I click on this, you can have Office online, and you have all of these items available to you, but the only ones that are free are Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote, as far as I know. You can use, instead of Outlook and Mail, you can use Outlook.com, and that is free. So you can still have an Outlook address and have free email as well. And when I showed this to Stan yesterday, he said, well, what's Sway? We're going to come back to that. We're going to talk about Sway here in just a few minutes. People is your contact list, and it's a little bit different, and it does share with your Outlook list, But the nice thing about having the people list is you can get to it from any of your mobile devices as well. So if you keep a complete list in Microsoft Office, you don't have to figure out a way to get it into another program, or you don't have to say, well, I really don't want to share this with Google and all my addresses. So there might be a way in which you can, you now can do that easily online using the application. So let's come back up here on this page, and you can see you can access anywheres, create and collaborate using your favorite desktop browser, familiar user interface. So if you're used to Word, you don't have to learn Office, Open Office or Office Libre or or another program that doesn't always use the document accurately. And there's an easy transition to move from Office Online to the desktop apps or vice versa. You got Word Online, Excel Online, and PowerPoint Online. And you can get started just by what you do is you create if you don't have a Microsoft account, it's free, but you create a Microsoft account, and you most likely have one if you have a Windows 10 or had an 8 machine. You probably created a Microsoft account to get in, but you may have used something else, or you're not using anything to log in. But if you don't have a Microsoft account, you can create one for free and then utilize those online Office programs. But let's get out of that, and that's here. So let's go back here. And I'm going to skip the Sway example, and I'm going to come back to it in just a moment. But let's go to the Office Online article from PC Magazine. And it's saying using the Office Online versus Office 365. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. This article was written in 2015, and it does talk about what's free. And I think some of these things may have changed, and they're comparing it to Word 2013. So it's probably not the best article, but it does give you a pretty good an idea of things you ought to take a look at. This is good, again, but it's an older article. This was written in 2014. Again, let me make this bigger. Office Online versus the talks about in comparison again with Office 2013. Of course, Office 2016, I believe, is the latest version. And then the next article was Microsoft Office for free. Yes, it's possible. This article is very good, and it was written just a couple of weeks ago. Get Microsoft Office for no money, nil, zilch, nada, bugger all. It's legal, easy, and this article explains the many options available. So what it talks about is getting started, which ones you can use. You go to office.com, log into your account, and then use the offline apps. And it tells you exactly how to use it and so on. I'm going to show you that in just a moment because we're running a little close on time, and I want to make sure I get to this. But yesterday we were talking about Sway, Stan. And I have an example of Sway that I went to a meeting recently, and one of the people that attended it put together this Sway, and it was at something called Tech Talks 2007, June of 2017. So instead of doing a PowerPoint presentation, this is much different. But you do it using the online utility called Sway, and you save it online so people can then access it. And so what we've got is view more. So you can do that by scrolling. So we're going to go ahead and scroll. As I scroll, so it says showcasing what's new and cool in development and tech worlds. And then you'll notice that there's 3 boxes there. One of them is a video. I'm just going to start it so you can see that it actually runs within Sway. I don't have the audio on, or I'm not sure whether the audio is coming through or not. But we'll stop it. Whoops. Stop it. Then they put a picture of the Microsoft store there. The reason why is they were a presenter at this meeting that I went to. And these are some video samples of some of the new Microsoft hardware from the local Microsoft store. And then these are actual pictures that actually I took or were taken with my camera because I'm in one of them. But this was the meeting we had on a Saturday. Started in the morning. Microsoft supplied us with lunch. And then we had some more sessions in the afternoon, all in one room. Everybody was together. And we talked, and Sway was one of the things we talked about. Sway and another program called Team that Microsoft just released. But that's more for businesses where you're working in teams. And it's a messaging program that allows you to compare and exchange information and so on. But one of the things I did is that the Microsoft had one of their Microsoft Surface Pros, which is a huge screen, touch screen with a keyboard and so on. An 11-year-old kid that was at our meeting sat down and just started drawing. He had never used one before. But let's go ahead and look at this video.
What is it, for the doctors?
So what he's doing here is he's picking a color in the color palette and then painting.
Medicine. Anyways, it's pretty interesting for all the doctors who are studying.
Here's the beating noise in the background. I was just over his shoulder just watching him.
It's diverse.
Picking colors and then just painting on this huge touch screen computer. And that's the Microsoft Surface Pro.
I know, right?
And it's
Well,
gorgeous.
you're here.
But it's also, they started about $3,000. And then you've got to, and then you can add DC equipment and so on to it. But what I wanted to demonstrate within Sway, we were able to play a video. You see some of the other photos that are there of what this during this meeting. We had the Microsoft group was in the bottom left of the pictures, and let's see if I touch one of these pictures. Yeah, it'll actually increase the size of the picture, and you can then go back and forth. So let's go here. So this is some of the Microsoft people plus the two people running this meeting, and then the young lad in front of the Pro. This was there was a panel discussion and then a lot of Q&A in between, and then I did a short presentation as well. And this is all part of Sway, and again, this is stored out on the cloud, but it certainly looks a lot nicer than what a PowerPoint presentation would have been to demonstrate what we did that day. And that's what Sway is. Stan, does that kind of explain it a little bit better?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Now, let's, for the heck of it, let's take a look at Office Online. And I'm going to do that by going to a free window here. And what I have done is I've created a button right here for Microsoft Office. Now, I remember that I am an owner of the Office 365. I pay $100 a year. I can have it on 5 computers, but it's free. It's free for Android and free for iOS online. And the 365 allows me even to install the full version on my desktop as well as having it in the cloud. So I sign in with my account. Once I'm signed in, it takes me to this screen. And at this point, I can pick whether I want to open up Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Sway, open up my mail, open up my contact list, my calendar, OneDrive. Docs.com is going away. They purchased another something else a couple of years ago, and they're replacing it. So that's gone away. It's either going away or gone away. But let's go to Word. A lot of you are familiar with Word. This is Word Online. Exactly the same as it would be on your computer. Now, these are all items you'll see, Dropbox and on OneDrive. I don't know, hopefully you can read that on the left, but these are all cloud-based documents that, so I can be on my desktop that I'm on now. I can go in my Chromebook. I can go into my iOS. The only iOS I have anymore now is my iPad. I can go on my Android phone, go to Word Online. Those same documents are there, and I have the ability to either open one up or create a new one. And I'm going to create a new one. When I create a new one, it added a document to my cloud automatically. In other words, it saved a blank document. I'm ready. It's now ready, and you'll notice that it has the same kind of ribbon at the top, where if you look, and I'm just going to quickly look at some of these, the page layout, you'll notice they're not quite as robust. Because I have the paid version, I can do the things that I can do on my desktop, but there's things like column changing, and I think mail merge is somewhat limited if you can do it at all. Most of the things that you do in Word, in Excel, and in PowerPoint, you can do using the online version, and it's free. Well, Microsoft has changed since a lot of us first got started with Microsoft. So if you're thinking in terms of, oh, Office is so expensive, I need to learn how to use LibreOffice, or I need to know how to learn OpenOffice and deal with the differences between the two programs. No, you don't. And then I can go back to File, and I'm not sure if I've got anything here. Let's see, print. So I can print from these. But let's go to Home. That's where I wanted to go. And then, or even File, and then Open. No, I'm just trying to think where it is. But I'm in a document, so I can type whatever I want. And I can format. You don't have the format painter in the free version. I do have it in this version because, as I say, I am a subscriber, but I can do whatever I want on the page layout. I can change the orientation. I want to change it to landscape. Come on. Mouse still doesn't want to work right. There we go. Now we're in, and we can go back to portrait. And so all of the things that you're used to in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, you can do online. So if we come back here to, oops, let's see. Well, oh, I know where it was. It's way down here at the end. Office. If I wanted to open up Excel, now I'm really pushing it because I've got all these tabs open. I've got Word open now, but now I've got Excel. I can open up any of these items. I can open up a new spreadsheet. I can use a blank one. I can use any of these, create a new spreadsheet and go to it, start working on it. I can open up ones that I've already done. These aren't any that I wish to share at this time, so I'm not going to do that, but you can see how it works. Stan, any questions from the audience on any of this before I close these up?
Apparently not.
Well, that's good.
Don't see any hands.
Nice to know there's an alternative.
Yep.
I didn't hear him.
Nice to know there's an alternative to LibreOffice. I don't know,
And Google Docs.
or Google Docs. Just a lot of choices, but they all work.
Absolutely. But I have found sometimes the fonts don't fit just right. Some words where I've got a heading and an article that was done with Word, the last letter wraps to the next line. Sometimes things don't quite work the same when you're going to something that was done in LibreOffice or OpenOffice, and it was originally done in Word or vice versa. So sometimes there can be a problem, and sometimes not. But if you're used to Word and you don't want to change, you can just do it online, and it's free. That's the nice thing about it. Where you were free before, you're even more free now. Now, does that make sense? Can there be such a thing as more free? I am not sure. Okay, Stan, how are we for time?
We take another 5 or 10, Huey.
Okay. The next item on here is how phishing works. And you know, phishing, let's take a look at the article here. How phishing works. This is from a website called Stay Safe Online. Let's make it bigger. It says, hang on one second here. A phishing app is when you receive an email or another message that may look like it's from a trusted source that encourages you to provide personal information or click a malicious link. Like other forms of cybercrime, phishing continues to grow in prevalence and sophistication as technology advances become more integrated with our daily lives. I've received some emails recently that I know are not from the bank or not from a particular company, but they wanted me to update my information or to sign in. And when I looked at the link in the email, it was definitely not to that company. And sometimes these come as warnings that scare us and to go ahead and click on it immediately. And you should never do that because you don't know where the email came from, and it may look extraordinarily like it came from the company that you think it's from, and it has nothing to do with them at all. They want you to sign in. Well, when you sign in, what happens is you sign in, you give them your username, you give them your password, they can make a record of that, and then they say, whoop, there's something wrong with our connection, try back later, or they take you to a fake page. But either way, now they have your sign in and your password for your banking or for a particular company, a stock, where your stocks are, or whatever you're using, they now have your sign in. And it's that quick. Sometimes when you open them, it takes you to a web page, and on that web page is some kind of a program that's running in the background online that can install something on your computer, and that's how malware gets installed. And it may not do anything. You may not see anything happen. You may not see any kind of download, and it may just load something and say, okay, run this later, and maybe an hour or 2 hours or a couple of days later, or when you do something, it triggers it, and then it runs and installs that malware, and then does something to your system, like either sets it up for ransomware, sets it up for people to log in and get your information, or just to use your computer as a mechanism to send out spam emails. So you really need to be careful on phishing, and this article talks about how they do it. Messages are often urgent or threatening. Graphics mimic those of the real company, and typically users are asked to click a link, which turns out to be phony. Phishers want your personal data, anything from bank account numbers to email content. And what do you do if you suspect phishing? Don't panic or click on anything until you know it's legit. Check for red flags, such as strange email addresses. Misspellings are very common in these. And then note, but it's become now that misspellings aren't uncommon in real emails from big companies either. So that's not always a clue, but it's certainly something that when you see a misspelling, you better check it out. And notify the company that it's being impersonated as well. They want to know. Share on your social media that you're getting these, because if you're getting, maybe you're on a list that your friends are as well. Call your friends and family. Don't always have them rely on getting an email from you warning about these things. Again, because they may be suspicious of that email and may not even open it to look at it because you're writing about something that you wouldn't normally write about, or the antivirus and anti-malware blocking in email programs and email servers may block it, so they never even see the email warning that you get, but somehow the phishing email gets through because they haven't done things to trigger it. So again, warnings cannot make it through where the phishing items can make it through blockers that email. And then email any listservs you're on and let them know if they're sending out things that are phishing and make it look similar to the item. So that's a pretty good article. And let's see what the next item is here. Unsubscribing from spam only makes it worse. I know a lot of you like to unsubscribe, thinking that, well, if I unsubscribe, they won't send me spam. Well, you know what? They don't care. Let's close that. So if you're unsubscribing from spam only makes it worse. Now they know, number one, you've read the article, you've read the email, and number two, even if they say, okay, we're not going to send you any more emails from this address, and then they say, okay, all of our other people and companies that we send out spam, we now have a new name because this guy reads his spam. So let's go ahead and add his name to all of them. So now instead of stopping one email, one email address, you've added 10 or 15 new ones or maybe more. So be very careful and don't unsubscribe from something you think might be spam because it may work just the opposite for you. Now, if you are on a mailing list of something you may have subscribed to, or a company you have purchased from, they are required to tell you that you can unsubscribe from them, and that when you do, that they're supposed to. There's one software company that I downloaded some free shareware from one of the shareware on sale or one of those, and installed the program. I got on their mailing list. I unsubscribed from because they were sending email after email on their software. So I unsubscribed. They said, okay, you're unsubscribed. I still get the emails, and they still say, well, if you want to unsubscribe, you can. And when I go to, they say, you're not subscribed. So unsubscribing can create problems even with companies that you've purchased or you've dealt with before. So be very careful and be aware of the fact that unsubscribing can make things worse, not better, when you do that. Okay, I think I'm not going to get into some of the things coming in Windows 10. I've got something on the Windows 10 settings app, and then some things that they're talking about changes headed. The next big update to Windows 10 will be in the fall, probably October. Who have not yet done the Creator update, that's going to be superseded or replaced or added to, I should say, with another update come late fall, and then another one in sometime in the spring of 2018. So there's going to be more and more of those kind of updates. If you're not doing updates, you really should. If it hasn't done it automatically yet, you might want to look into how you can do it manually. And on that note, I'm going to go back to, let's see, we'll undo this. We'll bring up this. Come on. And we're going to say thank you for coming today. For those of you who are online, and for those of you who are in the audience, I'm going to stop the recording and we'll say our final goodbyes. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do, but let's share it again.
Did more people come online, Huey?
I need to check that. Yeah, a few more did. Yep. And thank you for joining us, but I need to go back and stop the recording.